So how did I know that I was married to a narcissist? How did I figure that out? Well, it took 33 years of being together. There were signs in the beginning. There were a lot of things that I could talk about. I'm not going to go over in this video. But the ultimate sign was at the end. And that's really the problem with narcissistic abuse like this. And, I've forgiven her, and that's really important. Not forgiven her like I would ever be in her presence. But I've forgiven her because that's what Christ asked me to do. But, talking about it from your perspective and how, or my perspective, and how that actually manifested was at the end. Because at the end, the oddities, the strangeness of our breaking up was, for lack of a better word, I'm using odd, weird, strange, crazy. It was crazy, and so that's how I began to suspect, what is really going on. Because I tried to make things right. I tried to resolve it with her. Tried to. She would have nothing to say. In fact, closing her arms and legs together as if not to hear what I had to say, like a child almost. But when leaving her life, she went on about life like there was not a missed beat. There was no grief. There was no, that it was like, pick up from there. I'm moving on. I moved a man, she moved a man in the house with her, and, obviously lying about that and her relationship with this man, that he's just a roommate, and going on about her life as if she was like we had nothing. And so that is the point of, that's where that really damaged me at the time. But that is definitely, where I started to question and get out online what is going on. Because my problem was I was so traumatized by that I was suicidal. And unfortunately, that's where I was. So I was PTSD to the extreme, emotionally dysregulated. I was severe CPTSD, complex trauma, whatever term you want to say. And I was having a hard time just being able to reconcile what was going on. There was no closure. Like I said, it was as if 33 years, 4 children. At the time we got 6, 7 grandkids, and then immediately following, involving my children in telling them that I was abusive, and moving next into the smear campaign and telling other people and calling my friends, and they've all told me, they tried to, that your exes should call. She called, wanted to talk to me. These are friends that were obviously real friends, just letting me know that, she's wanting to tell them that I'm an abusive man, and that's why she's getting out of the relationship. So, upon all of my reactive abuse, that's how she made it. As if I was, but she didn't get, if I was truly abusive to where, you would think that she would be in like a home, or getting help. She would be so racked up. She wasn't. She was like, everything's just fine, I'm moving on. So that's how I knew. And so unfortunately, that's how you're going to know. And for most part, most people that I've heard of, that's the unfortunate part about dealing with narcissistic abuse, and trying to, maybe if you want to help people and you want to talk about your story, and you have a desire to help people out going through this, is that they're not going to know until they're abused. You know what I mean? So you're not catching them beforehand and saving them from that. You're not saving them from the abuse. they have to experience it, and unfortunately, that could be years and years and years and years. But if anything, something like this, a video like this, may help somebody connect the dots, and that would be a help in healing. You know, God can heal you. That's what He's done for me. My relationship with the Lord is where I changed direction. I realized that this relationship that I was in isn't a real relationship, can't be a real relationship. It's definitely not a healthy relationship. And for me, in my walk with the Lord, it's idolatry. That's what God showed me. And for her to move on, like, you know, just like nothing, it just shows you right there that this person is incapable of real, genuine love. Even though, from my aspect, this wasn't a loving relationship. This is not how loving relationships should be. Anyways, I hope it helps, and I hope that if you are hurting, I pray for you, and I can pray for you, that God will heal you, because it's been described as a soul-crushing event type of thing. But you don't have to stay there, and you won't stay there. You will grow, you will get better, but it will take you time, especially if you've been with somebody for decades. I guess it doesn't really matter, decades or not, but especially you've been with somebody for a long time, and you love them, you care for them. It's definitely a loss, and you're grieving. You're going to have to grieve. I suggest that you get into God's Word, stay away from alcohol and drugs, and stay away from other relationships, and stay away from sexual relationships, so that you don't experience this again. And I hope you have a great day. Thanks.